I realized after I made that first video that some of you might want to see where the obsession starts and ends. So here is my grow room. So this is where I start all the peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, tomatillos, and a few of the annuals I started down here. I don't think I'll do that again because it was kind of a waste. They did better winter sowing. So this table made kind of a makeshift greenhouse using old IV poles that we no longer needed, a table, and then some plastic drop cloths for painting, so just to keep the humidity up when they were starting. So I've got my heating mats, my lights. I had trays down here. I used a homemade mixture of potting soil, compost, and a slow release seed starting fertilizer. These right now are seeds that are drying. When I was out there, little Greg appointed me keeper of the seeds. So I went a little overboard when I got home. I've never done this before, but I started collecting seeds from all of the perennials and annuals that have already bloomed, and some from neighbors that let me take some from their yard, which was nice of them. And I also wanted to show you, as far as starting goes, I did a lot of them down here, but the majority of the plants that I started were done using a method called winter sowing. So how that works is I take a different combination of soil that I concocted, cut a milk gallon jug in half like that. I got them in mass from a local Starbucks, brought home a couple hundred of them. So you fill that up a little bit more than this. You get the soil nice and damp. Put your seeds in here at the depth at which they need to be buried. And depending on the seed, whether it's a perennial, annual, tender annual, more cold sensitive, you duct tape them shut like that, leave the lid off, label them, and set them out in the snow and do nothing until the spring. So the time at which you set them out in the winter is going to be dependent on what you're growing. So things like my onion and my brassica, I set out pretty early in February. So those stayed out there for quite a bit of time, and it also gave me something to do in Minnesota during the terrible winter. And then in the spring, when it starts getting warm, this creates a little mini greenhouse. I did drill holes in the bottom of that using just a standard drill for drainage so that they didn't get waterlogged. And then they will create this little greenhouse. It stays nice and humid in there. If at any point in time you realize that you're not seeing condensation, take off the duct tape, open the guy up, water it. Because of this, I was the crazy lady this spring that was out watering 200 milk jugs sometimes. So that was exciting to do that. And then when you do close it again, it's kind of hard to get that duct tape to stick. So I figured out, let me set this down so that I can show you. Okay, so I figured out that if you tuck these back in on themselves, they'll stay pretty well shut, so that you don't have to duct tape them back, because that was when I tried to do it. Oh my God, it was terrible. It made me not even want to do this again. But then in the spring, when I opened it up, this was full of plants, and then you just had to divide them and plant them out. So this is how I started all of the brassicas that you saw outside. So all of the cabbages that are in the grow boxes, most of my onions, my leeks, they were all started this way, and a lot of my annuals as well. Marigolds, sunflowers, bachelor buttons, cosmos, zinnias, sunflowers, they all did really well this method. And then they were ready to put in a lot faster than if I had started them in the ground. And the ones that I grew this way actually did quite a bit better than the ones that I started down here with lights and fans and heating mats and all of that. So this is how I'm going to do those things again. The more tender things like tomatoes, peppers, tomatillos, potatoes, they would not do well with this. There are some people in southern climates that do that, but up here when we're getting into the negative double digits regularly, not going to work. And here's kind of where the obsession comes to a head. Is that. So a lot of home canning, vegetables, pickles, Hot sauces. We made a green tomato hot sauce this year. That's amazing. Obviously, last year I went a little overboard because this is more than we can eat. So we're really hoping to try to get through some of this. I do also do some home fermenting. That's hot sauce that I haven't blended yet. A lot of people asked if that has gone bad. The white mold is not bad. I do have some over here that I need to dump because they did develop some black mold at the top, which is not safe to eat. We'll take a look at it when we open it and see if it's something that can be skimmed off, but likely it's not. But yeah, so start and end of the garden issue. Thanks for bearing with me through another one of these. Bye.